I did my first automotive review way back in 2008, and I've been reviewing it regularly since 2012. So I often get asked by people, what's my favorite vehicle? And it's really hard to choose because, by design, being objective, I don't really have one. However, when it comes to EVs, I do admittedly have some that I prefer more than others, and one of them is beside me here. It is the Hyundai Ioniq 6. On this video, I'm going to explain to you why I think this is one of my favorite EVs on the market today, and why you should consider it if you're in the market yourself. So stick around. One of the reasons why I like this Ioniq 6 so much might be a little bit old school in terms of why I like it, but it's a sedan. And in the EV space, we don't have many. In fact, in North America at large, we seem to not like sedans anymore, but there still are people like me who enjoy them. And I mean, along with the Model 3 from Tesla, and later this year, the Volkswagen ID.7, at least in the mainline brands, we don't really have many sedans. So for that reason alone, I really like the Ioniq 6. It dares to be different just in the category of vehicle it is. And not only is it a sedan, but it's a very distinctive looking sedan to boot. This thing really gets noticed. It is something that when you see it, you say, oh, I know what that is right away, based on its very distinctive shape, which I admit will be polarizing to others. I love it. Other people will probably say the exact opposite, but nonetheless, I really enjoy this. The main reason why it is shaped so distinctively is all about aerodynamics. This is one of the most aerodynamic vehicles around. Aerodynamics is all about something called coefficient of drag, and we all know that a teardrop is the most aerodynamic shape in existence, and so you can see this very much echoes or looks like that. So it cuts through the air with very minimal drag, which for EVs is very important because that adds to the efficiency and the overall distances it can travel on a single charge. So this alone is another reason why I like it, and just the way it's overall shaped. I mean, I love the back end too, that sort of the dual spoiler effect. It's got a really kind of an interesting look in the back in it. I like it. I'm less so on the front, but overall the general shape and dynamics of this. With this particular unit that I'm driving this week, one of the things that I quite like, although it's not wide across all Ioniq 6, is the color. This is a matte and it's a green. It's hard to detect. It looks gray in a lot of situations, but it's called a digital matte green. I'm not normally a matte fan per se. Sometimes it looks really good. Other times I prefer not. But in this case, in this type of green, it's got some almost military type of deeper greens. There's a green and gray, but this digital matte green is, again, it's a distinctive look to it overall. But generally, just the fact that it's a sedan, it's a really cool looking sedan, is a big reason why I like this one so much. And again, because of that overall efficient shape, that slipstream, that low coefficient of drag, this is among the most efficient EVs on the market right now. It and the Tesla Model 3 tend to go side by side with how efficient it is. The most efficient variant, because again, this, like others, has single and dual motor variants, it has larger tires, there's a whole bunch of different options available, but it can be as efficient as 14.1 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That's 22.5 kilowatt hours per 100 miles. That's ridiculously good in terms of how little energy it requires to get this vehicle going. Even with dual motors, you're never getting anything that is, well into the 20s for kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, as you see in some of the higher performance-oriented crossovers and other EVs. So no matter what option you take, you have a vehicle that doesn't require a lot of energy overall. And thanks to that efficiency, the other benefit is when you take this battery, which is 77.4 kilowatt hours, no matter whether you're doing a single motor or a dual motor, is you have a lot of power available with an efficient vehicle, which means you're going to go a great distance on a single charge. Using that same single motor, 18-inch wheels variant, you have a posted EV-only range of as much as 581 kilometers. That's 361 miles. What range anxiety? Where would you get range anxiety when you have the type of distances you have with this vehicle? You're just not. Even if you're getting into the dual motors like I'm driving now with, the greater horsepower, I mean, you're still going to get into, ranges well above 400 kilometers. And it just, I mean, I've driven this vehicle a few times. I've done a couple videos on it. Before this, I did a comparison between it and the Model 3. And of course, those of you, if you're a subscriber to my channel, you might remember that I actually spoofed the Isn't It Ironic from Alanis by doing a song on a video review calling Yes, It Is Ioniq 6. So if you're a subscriber, you might remember that. If you're not a subscriber, well, then maybe this would be the time for me to suggest that you might want to try and do so. I'd love to have you as a subscriber. Certainly, if you do like what I'm saying here, make sure you like and share this with others. And if you are a subscriber, I hope you've already rung the bell so you're notified of every time I upload something new. But that's an aside here. Let's back to why I talk about why I love this so much. And that 77.4 kilowatt hour battery does give it plenty of output. Even if you're in the single motor, you're still going to get 225 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. But when you get into the dual motor system, you're getting 320 horsepower and 446 pound-feet of torque. And with all the benefits of an EV, with no torque lag, you have all the benefits right from when you touch. I really like how this drives. It has always been stable. I just find the acceleration, I mean, I don't always have to be in sport mode. When I do, it's got a nice kick to it. But even in just normal mode, where you're being a little more efficient, with the output, I don't feel like it lacks. I mean, yes, it's not a performance-oriented version. It's not an N, but it's still just, it doesn't leave me wanting. Now, another thing that ties into all of the range and the power and the efficiency, of course, is the fact that it's also an 800-volt charging platform, which means the other benefit is that this thing charges really fast, which is another one of these, well, I don't know, I want to drive an EV because it could take me 7 days and 4 weeks to charge for 15 minutes, like all these nonsensical things. With this 800-volt system, and if you get to a 350 kilowatt charger, you'll get between 10 to 80% of your charge in about 17 or 18 minutes. This is something I've verified because I've been in many vehicles with this platform and the charging system. But if you want to break it down into more sort of, minute by minute breakdowns, you're going to see as much as about 100 miles of charge, or 160 kilometers, in under 7 minutes. So, if you're on a drive somewhere where you don't need to really top up from empty to full when you're getting near to an empty charge, and you only have a little bit more range you need. So look, in 10 minutes, you get another 100 miles, 160 kilometers, or maybe 200 kilometers with, 10, 12 minutes or so. Then you get to your destination and then finish off topping up or recharging from empty to full at that point. So a roadside stop or a highway stop where you're getting a coffee, you're going to the washroom, 10 minutes, you've got that extra 100, 120 miles. Like, come on. How is this going to be impeding on your quality of life? It's not. I love this vehicle for that. And overall, the interior, there's a lot of space in here. Even though this is a sedan, because it is an EV, because the battery is placed below the passenger compartment, because it has a flat floor, in the second row, it's really quite spacious. This would be a mid-size sedan if we still had those things. And, there's a lot of room back there. And the general layout of this vehicle, it's clean. Hyundai and Kia, they have the dual split screens, a 12.4 inch. You've got your driver information cluster, you've got your infotainment system. It all works well. It's a nice interior. The ambient lighting system here can get pretty funky. You got a host of variety of colors in it, and it's prominent. Some vehicles you have ambient lighting that you barely notice. You do here. I mean, overall, I just like the feel of it. I like the seating. I like the configurations. Like I said, this is, for a number of reasons, been one of my favorite EVs on the market today. So these are the explanations why I think the Ioniq 6 is one of my favorite EVs on the market right now. Do you agree with me? Is this Ioniq 6 one of the best EVs on the market today, or do you have a different opinion altogether? Let me know in the comments and let's have a discussion. But I do appreciate you watching this. And again, subscribe to my channel if you're not. Like this, share it around, make sure you're ringing the bell, and we will talk to you again soon. I'm Eric Novak. Thanks for watching.